hear it and I'll be in.
I know, but you didn't. Hello, hello, and welcome to Awaken Your Human Design. My name is Moni. This is Danny, and today we're going to get into tone. So we're getting into substructure because you have gate, then you have line, then you have the color, and then you have the tone. So we're going to talk about that today.
Oh God, it gets so deep and tone, I'm going to come to call the Department of Planning, and we'll get into why that is. It's this homogeneous thing that when you look at scale, it starts to make sense.
Very interesting. And if you'd like to book a reading with either Danny or myself, you can check out the QR code above, or I got the link down in the description box below. And you can use code AWAKEN for 10% off of your reading so we can get together, hang out, help you understand yourself a little bit better. So check that out. And if you've been getting a lot out of our episodes, you've been learning a whole lot, and you'd like to help support us and encourage us, we have a donation link right above, again in the QR code or down in the description box below. And as always, thank you to everyone who is liking, subscribing, commenting, hanging out with us, asking questions. We love having you, and let's get into it.
Let's do it.
So tone is the way our sensory system is intended to operate. Some charts will differ, but it's often depicted in this green triangle. And what's interesting about tone is that the left three tones, 1, 2, 3, they indicate when you see on your chart, you have the arrows, the variable arrows. This is actually what is determining the left or the right. So the 1, 2, 3 tones are left arrow, and the 4, 5, 6 are right arrow.
Yep, and there's 6 available for all parties. What's really cool here is 1, 2, and 3 mark our evolutionary path right up through to the end of the seven-centered being. In 1781, 4, 5, and 6 showed up. The projector showed up. The 4 types were solidified, and the emotional solar plex became online and available.
Wowie.
Yeah, a lot happened here, and that's why. And the movement of humanity is towards the rightness. I mean, we're not really here getting into the variable arrows meaning so much as we are the tone, but I mean that rightness is receptive and open to so much stuff, but it can't be strategic. And that left tone is strategic and can narrow in on stuff instead of all stuff. And it can, it can narrow in and strategically go after the objectives. These two things work together, and tone is a big part of that. But obviously, it determines it.
Yeah, we did do a previous episode on variables, so check that out if you're interested. I'll link it for the post video thing, so you can check that out in the description box. But yeah, check that out. But for now, we'll continue on our tone adventure. So if
Mm-hmm.
you're looking on a chart, it's going to be this. It tends to be the more lateral, right? So you have the medial number and you have the lateral. So this is the one more on the outside. So, and it's indicated with these, the green triangle around the numbers. So you'll have this in every one of your placements on your chart, but usually if it is on a chart, you're only really going to see these four as they're kind of like the bigger players, but you would actually have a tone for each gate placement
Activation,
that
yep.
you have. Gate activation, exactly. And so you can see this here, just to break it down a little simpler. For this example, this is actually my chart. My gate is 25. The line is a dot 3, so I'm a third line. Then color, you can see here with this yellow circle, is the 5, and then tone is the 2. So this is, a couple decimal points in if you're looking at it, just to explain that.
Yeah, and that two becomes these tones have their departments of planning. This tone has uncertainty as a matter of becoming inquisitive. As part of the department, and it moves into the color, and tone becomes this thing that, again, it's huge. If you think about it, there's 8 billion people, so it's a well stocked. Every department is flooded with its people.
Hmm.
A billion per approximately, but more, 1.2 maybe.
So if we're looking on the design side of the body, that's the left side, and that's going to be where you see the stuff in red. So design, I think of like the blood underneath your skin. You can't really see the blood. It's having an effect, but you can't see it. So design, it's this unconscious side. You're not aware of it. You're not, there's blood under there, but like you're not really thinking about it, even though it's doing stuff. It's unconscious. And it's physical. It's about the physical senses, and it's very body oriented.
Yeah, and again, there's so much going on in the body, and it's moving at the speed of nanoseconds, or less. Some of it is undoubtedly moving in quantum time. And the bottom line is, this is integrated with all of it. It's a violent storm down there. This stuff is on the move, except the tone itself acts as anchor. It's something that survives all of the chemistry and comes out of each being, one by one by one. So this would be which one is one, Moni? Smell, right?
Smell, yeah,
Yeah,
we'll
smell.
get to
Yeah.
that.
No.
It is smell though, because you needed to test yourself, didn't you?
Mm. Yeah, of course.
So if we go now to the right side, this is the personality side. This is where everything's going to be colored in with black. And so this is your personality. It's what you're conscious of. You see it there. You understand it about yourself. And this is more of these abstract qualities. This is non-physical, and tone can show up as like more like mental filters, where the design side was something physical, like a sense, a smell, a taste, your vision on the design side. The personality is more of this mental filter is how it's going to come through.
Yeah, totally. And that's why, I mean, the two different disciplines become, rave psychology, that's on the personality side, and then dietary regimen and, internal the determination and so forth, that's on the left side, the PHS, primary health systems. That's why they're split up that way, because they act differently and they sort of get different keynotes, but you'll also see they're relatively interchangeable-ish.
There's an overlap.
Totally.
It's like a Venn diagram. Like there's an overlap in like one or two-ness, and then the design is going to show up as more of a physical sense because it's the physical body. Red blood is how I remember that. And then on the personality side, it's more of this kind of personality expression. It's this mental thing. So it's going to have like it's like a Venn diagram overlap where they have a different expression of a similar foundation.
Yeah, it's the passenger. This is our consciousness. When you start to see your tone, and you don't have access, access to this tone. It's not something you go in and be like, "Oh yeah, that's my thing." You have to see it in action over the course of a little bit of time before you start to recognize it, and then through your first deconditioning full cycle, it becomes something you're aware of. I mean, Moni and I are always saying, "Dude, I'm uncertain," or I'm always saying, "But dude, I desire." And it's like, and we both know exactly what it means. However, at the time of her uncertainty, or my desire that is to lead, that these things come out, I'm not quite in charge that it just emerged, but I am absolutely capable and thrilled to witness it. It's in that moment. There's some kind of microcosm of this moment. It all happens about, this is all about the pulse. Even though we use the keynotes of the different, of the different binaries, the ajna, the splenic, and the emotional solar plex, it's still about what that green line in the center is showing us. It becomes our sense. It becomes this thing that we identify with the most, is our sense. And that green line represents the fact that the one sense that's not listed in any of this will be sound, as you'll see.
That's coming
And
up.
sound, yeah, and it's used to just represent the fact that frequency, this is a whole frequency gamut sound is meant to be. It's meant to be all of frequency, and it's in the individual definition, which you'll see also plays part of this. This is a complex episode, and it's really good and it's deep. I can't wait to get into the things, and Moni will get me out of the saying too much business. Yeah, that's funny.
So continuing on, we're going to break down the 6 tones. First, we're going to break them down in twos. So it'll be 1 and 2, then 3 and 4, and then 5 and 6. And then this next part of the episode will go through each of them individually because it's kind of neat if you break it up that way. So we're going to start off over here with tones 1 and 2. And this is the splenic concentrated side. So with tone 1, smell will be on the design side as a physical sense, which then on the personality side, it's security, right? You smell something's off. It's about security. And then tone 2, which is taste, and that with the design side, tone 2 is taste with the design side, and on the personality side, it shows up as uncertainty. Again, we'll go into detail of this on the next pages, but first we're just going to talk about why are these the splenic ones? Why are they important in this way?
Well, they're survival instincts. These are straight up splenic survival instincts. Remember, people, integration is splenic business. 57 is the awareness of integration. And that's what self empowers us to survive. And it's just survival anyways. It's the spleen. This is the home of where our immune system gets its imprinting, basically. It's its knowledge and its capability. Um, so this is the moment to moment and concentrated. You could also call this it's just you call it moment to moment. It's a moment to moment frequency, and it is concentrated on that moment to moment. So whatever the next moment is, concentrated it will be. You ever smell something and immediately every sense goes to work, concentrated? Because I smell something burning. That is an immediate, more than even seeing. Seeing still takes a minute. What am I seeing here? But as soon as you smell it, it does not take a minute. It's splenic. Same with
Mhm.
taste. Yeah,
It's
right?
bitter,
Just
it's gross, it's like vinegar. It's like
it's
something
vinegar, the milk, the
concentrated,
sour,
pungent. Yeah,
right,
it's so
whatever it is.
intense.
Yes, the eyes
And the
can see mold and be like, and have some thoughts and think some things and maybe cut it off. And a whole process of mind will take place as we see. But,
with eyes.
right with eyes, but as the sense of taste, you taste that with your tongue and it's whoa. And I mean, the keynotes here are open and closed. This thing can be totally closed. Um, so it's a lot. It's splenic. It's survival. I better taste it and I better smell it. And that's what survived all of our animal kingdom this far, basically. Well, plus sight, of course.
Yeah, and it's like the more concentrated a smell or a taste is, it's the more like alarming it is. Like things that kind of taste in the middle, it's probably not going to be dangerous, but like we said, like vinegar or something more intense, that more concentrated smell or taste, the gas is on the stove, something like that,
Mm,
something's off, there's a fire. It's a very concentrated thing to like
mm,
indicate, like, hey, thing, pay attention to this in the security
mm.
aspect.
Absolutely. Bite into a grain of pepper where you weren't expecting it, and you'll notice, all of this stuff. So these things are survival. They're moment to moment because the moment you're not tasting it, it's gone. Is the thing. As soon as you spit it out, 90% of all that taste energy is like simply just cataloging at this point. It's not causing you to do a thing, spit it out. So taste
Hmm.
and smell will bring us into immediate action for our own survival.
Yeah,
And
which
it's
is very.
awareness wise, cognition wise too. Sorry.
No, no, I interrupted. I was just excited because, yeah, these are the left arrow ones. So it's focused and it's strategic. And then it's like if you think of like a baby, like how they're exploring the world. Like the first thing is like a smell is coming in and then they put it in their mouth, or if you
Those
find
two
something, you're
things.
like,
It's always, yeah.
yeah, it's like you find something, you see it, you smell it, you kind of like, is this okay? Is this tasty? It's just it's almost like was it the hierarchy of needs, like the steps, you're gonna go from smelling to tasting, and then we'll move on to the next ones.
Absolutely. And remember, guys, this is the evolutionary path. This was here as we were, still cavemen. Totally. Just having expressions and learning to not even a complex language yet. And this was totally here. And then finally, drum roll, please.
Then we'll move on to tones 3 and 4. And so what's interesting here is 3 and 4 are straddling these left and right arrows. Tone 3 is a left arrow, and this relates to, on the design side, it's outer vision, and on the personality side, it's action. And then if you move over here to tone 4, it's a right arrow, which on the design side relates to inner vision, like closing your eyes, and on the personality side as meditation. And they're ajna and periodic.
Yes. So the toy box is what we call the ajna. This is our mind where we think. The home of our outer authority speaks through here. So this is important. Our outer authority is our love pouring into the world, right? It's an important place. It measures, it speaks, it holds all the details of speech along with the capacity to aggressively get it out into the world. It's we love that. We can talk. um, the periodic word. This word periodic is we're looking at a sound, and all vibration is the center column. It's the individual way, but this is periodic. It's shared. It's part of, one is abstract, one is the logical, as we'll see in a moment. I mean, it's actually embedded in all of this. And periodically they're this, periodically or that. The ideas can come in, the opinions can go out. Everything about this is sort of in, sort of out. The concentrated is like smelled it, it's all gone. This is like it's here, it's gone, it's back again. Oh, it's more. Oh, it's less. It's altered. It's been opinionized to death. Oh, it's gone again. Oh, it came back. New opinion. Finessed opinion, logical opinion. Wow, powerful opinion. You see what I'm doing, right? It's in, it's out. Periodically, one person's in and one person's out. And this is a great place of leading to a lot of misunderstanding. So most of our propaganda comes here, and any kind of finger pointing, is very much starts in here and fleshes out with all kinds of details and words and stupid stuff. So it's both.
Yeah, and I even kind of see this, it's like this outer vision and inner vision, and this idea of it being periodic, it's in and out, and it's like now you see it, now you don't. Now you see it, now you don't. Like, oh, I just saw him, he was right there, and then he was gone. Like, it's in and out, kind of makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely. And it does what mind does. I mean, technically, mind itself holds on to this periodic movement over all of time. That's its frequency in our outer life. But down here at tone, uncertainty a little bit, uncertainty gone. The uncertainty will speak to the concept factory, and the concept factory will come up with outer vision will look, meditation will contemplate. Put these two things together, and we're looking and contemplating. Again, the department of outer vision is 1.2 billion people at least, and same with inner vision. So there's plenty of people looking out and plenty of people looking in, and they're mixed up with everything else we'll see in here. And so I deal mostly with the personality first when I talk about the sense. When they say your senses, they're talking about the personality tone. And that sense is the thing that is the first and very often the quickest, easiest to sort of get to as it relates to your understanding of your body graph and your process as you decondition and follow that strategy and authority. Follow it like there's no tomorrow, please. Um, Other than that, I like the fact that they're split. When we look at other ways of looking at this is a very energetic place. This is a changing zone. So in other instances, it's the energetic binary. Here it's the periodic binary moving between the two, but it is an energetic place. Changing and mutation is taking place here because we're moving from one species to another here. Think about that. Both sharing and operating through the same brain function, essentially.
And then we move over here to tones 5 and 6, which relate to the solar plexus, and they're cyclical. So tone 5 on the design side is feeling, and on the personality side is judgment. And tone 6 on the design side is touch, and on the personality side is acceptance.
Yeah. These ones are touchy-feely. It's the solar plex one, binary. So by the way, these
Touchy
each
feely,
yeah, well, this is the home,
literally.
the tribe. Feeling and judgment is tribal business. Touch and acceptance is the transitional business and the role models business. The acceptance or not. Um, and the touch tells the acceptance. This is the master healer. The tribe is the master keeper of the tribal keys, and essentially, and there is judgment here. Um, what's important to notice is that each of these is that we've seen before. When we put them all together, we'll be able to add them up. Is a stream of 4 gates are closely linked to each of these tones. The department has what's called a stream of awareness, and there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 streams of awareness in total. And let's see, 1, 2, 3 of them are left out. 3 are left out, the individual ones. They're not part of this. They're absorbing the frequency of it all to become its mutative cognitive way, to have our capacity to advance our own consciousness and be the witness of that, and then share that with others. The tones are always sharing or tribally supporting, and the mentally working on. And then the individual definition goes right through the center and experiences it. You've often heard me say the rest of the definition in the body graph serves the unique individual knowing circuitry. And this is a prime reason why. Yeah, feeling. I mean, do you want to talk? Let's talk a little bit about feeling, or are those going to come up on other slides?
We're going to go through each of the 6 tones individually in the next section. So this is more just the 5 and the 6 together, and this idea of solar plexus, right? In the solar plexus, think of the emotional wave. It's up and it's down. It's cyclical, right? Like the waves even are like controlled by the tide, the tides are by the moon, which goes in a cycle. So this idea of the solar plexus, and it's cyclical, and how you feel about somebody and you really like them, and then maybe they annoy you, but then no, they're cool and it's cool, and even you judge that. Or if you're going to touch it, and if you're touchy feeling with it at a time, or maybe you're not, like how it comes in this cyclical solar plexus wave kind of way.
Look at it like this. That's great, Moni. You just made pull something out of me. Look at it like the feeling part and the touch and the solar plex part is on its way to clarity or not. That's what this is about. So the feelings get clear sooner or later as they run through their wave. And you look back up, you don't have to go back, but back up top would be the thinking over all of time. It's cataloged, it's there periodically. Things will mutate and morph and all kinds of stuff. And then you get down to the spleen sign, you see how that is concentrated. These things are each doing their own thing. I mean, the spleen doesn't really hang on to it very long. It's more like, hey, how are you? Okay, we good, good. And then everyone goes their both separate ways type thing. They're not very touchy-feely. On this side, they exactly are. And upstairs, they're trying to make sense of all of that and writing stories, right? Telling stories and writing books. The Kama Sutra came out of here.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
Hmm.
Cool.
And touch is the same thing. This acceptance says the 6-line process. And this becomes not the tribal part, but this becomes the what's the word I'm looking for? The sharing. This is the sensing abstract circuit of the collective. So this goes from the 41 up to the 35. And it's the acceptance of our experiential way. In fact, it's almost like a dead ending. And gates and line 6, in this case, tone 6 becomes our role model of it all. We've come to our conclusion. We can transition. We can transition or not. And that's a big emotional awareness, because think of how much we're stuck on transitional. This is the transitional portion of these two binary, of this binary. Just like up top, I was saying you could call it the active zone, the mixing zone, and on the left, it's the concentrated is a great name for it. So I think I got enough on these by now.
So then we have the altogether view of all 6 tones. And again, we're going to go through them individually coming up. But just to have the full page all in one, if you want to take a screen grab or whatever, and just put this is like the whole image. These are the tones.
This is the whole image, and it's really simplified, guys. If you've been on looking at this place and that place and getting your screenshots and saving slides like I've done, a lot of people do save this one. It's actually just really good.
Thank you.
Yep.
I was really excited to
It pops.
reformat this
Yeah.
one. Thanks. I really enjoyed making this one. Um, do you have any tie it all togethers on this one before we go into each of them individually?
I can't wait to go into each individually. I think we sort of tied this together. Well, one thing, this is about our awareness and our cognition, right? This is our capacity to have cognition and literally Look at cognition like ignition. These are the departments of planning. These are the departments of NASA as we say ignition and blast off. This is where we blast off from. It's not quite the tone. The tone sets, I mean, the bass. The bass sets the pace for the tone. The tone is really the departments that are pressing the buttons and saying launch, for us. And then suddenly we're in movement. And we wonder why. Something the inner vision saw, something the solar plex is feeling and getting clear on, something the mental outer vision is having action with. And one way, shape, or form, the ajna is coming to terms with all of the data it's taking in, but it's still not our inner authority. We go back inside, and the splenic tells us exactly what just happened, exactly as it relates to our right now existential existence. Existential, overall of time, cyclical in a wave, feelings, touch, and then outer and inner. I love outer and inner. They're like, if you have them, I have them both. I have inner on my right and outer on the design side. And before I knew that, I was just constantly tortured. One would try and overpower the other, and they had to exist together. Try to explain that on a first reading, right? I mean, let it take a year and two to just keep sitting in, and let it take the whole 7 years to decondition. This is what's at the end of it. My inner vision tells me everything now. For me, it's actually called meditation. My meditation are still my eyes closed, if not closed, just not really even looking at. I get it all. I get so much from there. And when I try to focus in, I can't see.
Yeah, definitely with tones, it's one of those things that you learn a little bit about as you go, and then the more years you're into it, it'll just kind of pop in and out and pop in and out, and you absorb a little bit more. But yeah, I'm like 7 years in now and really starting to get juicy with it. So give yourself time to just let it resonate and absorb in.
You don't need it to be all good, all better. You don't need it. If you never knew the word tone, it was never uttered to you, you'd be thick in the middle of your body graph and you'd be loving that. You'd be fine.
Ready, Mosey?
Yep.
So starting off with tone one, and this is splenic. It's a left arrow, so it's focused, strategic. On the design side, it's smell, and on the personality side, it is secure. It is security.
I'm going to
What do
wait
we
for all the words to come up.
That's what I had a feeling. So, starting off with the design side, the smell. Design again, that's the physical. It's the physical body. It's your base senses, the ones you learned about when you're in kindergarten. So, we're starting off with smell. So, these are olfactory cues related to the nose, and they relate to primary survival, and they're filtering by subtle sense. And they might say it smells right or it doesn't smell right. And these relate to instincts of safety because the nose processes ancient memories and it has a heightened sensitivity to odors. It signals well being or not, and it thrives in a fresh, clean environment.
It's wicked important to notice here. This is our closest tie to actual splenic instinct. The stream of awareness here is called the stream of instinct. It is an actual awareness, and it is our capacity to, exactly as the name says. If we had no instincts, we would be like, well, actually, there are a lot of things if we didn't have in the spleen. We would be like, what was that crazy world, Idiocracy? That was the funniest movie. I loved it. And it really, they had no spleen. They had only toy box. And emotions, wild, wild emotions, but spleen gone. They just didn't have instinct for survival. So, and intelligence. This builds intelligence. When you have an instinct for something, you're going to crack a book. You're going to learn all kinds of things. You're going to feel a certain kind of way. This drives so much, and it's tribal. It's guaranteed to be instincts in support of, instincts in sensitive support of. So it's powerful. Smell is so much more than that. The instinct of, as soon as you're close enough to someone and you can smell them, that tells you so much about their safety or not.
Oh yeah. And even, like I come from a European family where, you kiss both cheeks, two, three
Mhm.
times. You really get that in, that idea of hugging a person. You're smelling them or like, are you cool? Are you one of my tribe? Or maybe you might smell a little different. And that could be like, we might not be. And again, you're thinking in like ancient times where people who looked and smelled different, they might be danger. Like, you know, your tribe and your smells, and you're like, okay, this is cool. Whereas that could really signify danger.
Just think of how seriously the animal kingdom treats that nose of theirs. We're no different. It may be less like sensitive as it relates to, the hound dog that can smell blood from 2 miles away, but we can smell a lot of things. So our smell is linked deeply, deeply. Everything serves the individuals linked deeply to our intuition. And again, smell is a tribal aspect that says my instinct for this is going to drive my intelligence, and it does signal well-being and all of that. So don't put a lot of stuff on. If this is your tone on in either one, but especially if this is your tone for digestion, and even if it's your tone on the personality side, don't wear a ton of fragrance to
Yeah,
cover up stuff.
yeah, I find because I actually have smell as my digestion determination, so it's like my main spidey sense, and I'm definitely very scent aware, and I don't like fake fragrances. You know, I love like frankincense or like essential oils, that kind of stuff, but especially fake fragrances are really weird. And then also being careful if some like it's hiding, like if the smell is too strong, even a natural one maybe could be too strong, depending on, whatnot, but
Yep.
that could be hiding something, and so it might be making you less aware in a sense, like, or maybe if you have some super strong perfume on and then you're not able to smell the other person. I don't
Right.
notice it an issue with essential oils for myself, but more like if it was like a perfume that would really overpower and detract from like data collection of my nose.
It's don't forget, this is unconscious, like Moni was saying in the beginning. The data collection goes far beyond our capacity to write a book about it, to write stuff about it or know or explain, it far beyond. It's going down deep into the tone level we just don't have actual access to. We only have access by recognition of how it expresses on the surface. And then we have, and then technically we have access to it. Awareness, you see it, now you know it.
And a fun story for this one is I know someone who knew that his girl was the one for him the first time he smelled her. And I was like, "I
It's
bet you he
there
has
in
smell
so many
cognition," and he
ways.
does. Yeah,
Yep,
yeah.
yep.
So now for the personality side. On the personality side, this is security, right? It's a little bit more abstract, where the design side is very like your main senses. It's security, where it's more abstract, but it definitely relates. And so this could be a mental fixation on safety and the unknown. And intelligence is rooted in protective strategies. It's about fast check or fact checking and preparation, asking, is this secure? Fosters a health oriented mindset with a vigilant inner voice, prompting resilience, but it risks isolation if it's not balanced with trust.
Totally isolation, because it's on the personality side. That thing isolates itself like there's no tomorrow just by accident. Um, Day in and day out. It's called the not self. And so on the personality side, security, don't forget these are like in all of these things to the first line of a hexagram. There's genetic continuity between the line of a hexagram and the number one as it relates to everything, the tone, the color, whatever it is, even the bases, but not so much. What is this? This is the investigator, the foundation maker. This whole security is like, security is even a secure foundation. Secure everything is a good, and the smell is our foundational aspect. The lower we go in the number, first sense, right here, right, the first tone, the farther back in time evolutionarily we are when it entered into our evolutionary tract. So the very first thing, let there be smell. And over here, let that help us make us intelligent to sense how we create our security, foundationally speaking. So it can pass that on, by the way. It's logical. It's an understanding process. This security and this smell created incredible understanding, a foundation for the understanding process.
Cool. You feel good,
Mm-hmm.
Mosey?
Mosey.
One second, I'm going to
I
cough
don't
on
want to
this.
confuse the things. I said the understanding process, even though that was the tribal stream of instinct. It's still the tribal stream of instinct. It's doing all that, but I'm just saying it lays incredible foundational stuff as it relates to all of the departments. And all of the departments also include the collective departments, which we're coming up when we get to number two. Number two is in the collective department. It's the
Now you're
Department of
ready
Smell and Security here, folks. We're here to make sure it all starts out right.
for realsies now.
Mhm.
So now we'll move on to tone two. This is splenic as well. This is left arrow. On the design side, the physical body, the physical senses, this is taste. And on the personality side, it is uncertainty. So, first diving into the design side is taste. This is the discerning gatekeeper, sampling life's flavors. It craves novelty in moderation, tasting new foods and experiences, instinctive barrier against excess. So often is breathing through the mouth and taking in like data by breathing through the mouth. This is like the one type of person this is actually healthy for. And they might also taste conversations before getting in deeper, like sample it, take a little bit. And a friend of mine has this, and he said he meets the world with his mouth. He loves to cook and try foods from all different places. And he said that to me, and I was like, I bet you he has taste cognition. And he does.
Mm. Cognition is just such a sexy thing. It's just, again, this stuff is foundational. This is the foundational binary. It's the splenic one, our oldest awareness. It's guaranteeing that this taste, which by the way now goes up the outside collective logical understanding. So that's 58 up to 16 are the four gates in the department of taste on the design or personality doesn't matter, but it's as it relates to that. So that department is wants to identify the thing that logically pushes us forward, that they can get excited about, that is solution oriented. And the thing is, only our taste really gives us that. Our security is not quite the same thing. But over on the personality side, when we get to the uncertainty of it, uncertainty drives taste testing. Taste testing drives identification and excellence. So that's what's going on over here. We have a taste for this color. That is a logical process that's going through this awareness. And don't ever forget, the spleen is there to keep us safe. It's not just a fanciful taste, although the not self will gladly, stamp it up and down and make it be something stupid and materialistic, which it is at times, and so forth, and demanding and all kinds of things. But in reality, it's just there for our own unique way. Serves the individual circuitry.
Any other thoughts on design, or should I go into the personality?
Oh, personality, please.
Cool. I always like to make sure. So on the personality side, it's uncertainty, right? You're uncertain about something until you got to try it. How do I know I like it if I don't try it? So this is again this more mentally abstract version of like what we kind of see on the design side. So
Mm.
these people may thrive in ambiguity and have a taste for the unpredictable. Excuse me, I'm going to clear my throat really quick. They navigate doubt by selectively experimenting, asking what if as a curiosity more than as a paralysis. They have a desire for fresh inputs. They may switch hobbies and sample different gigs and emerge with sharper instincts. Honor the pause and discern your true cravings.
I love the combination. The instincts and the taste, guys, they work together. Smell and taste go together, just period. So leave them together. The taste seems like mental business, but it's not down here, not yet. However, it is going up to talk to the very next stream that we get to when we're finished here. And so it is very closely linked to mental, logical understanding through the ashna with details, right? Lots of them. So over here, when it just stays as uncertainty, uncertainty is a second line process. This is the department of the hermit. We just got done with the investigator. This is the department of the one that is the natural, doesn't know, allows for uncertainty, is aligned with hope. This is the department of if it tastes right, I hope it works. And this is the department of hope always drives lots of, excitement as soon as you have it. unless you let this department be the department of uncertainty as the biggest problem in the whole world. And I can't tell, and I have paralysis. That's not what the spleen doesn't really understand paralysis. If you are experiencing that, understand that through the splenic binary, that can't be you. That can't be you. Doesn't mean you won't still experience it. It just means you get to start seeing it and saying what's true at it. No.
It's kind of neat, this idea of like taste and uncertainty. And like my first thought was thinking of like, oh, is it sugar or is it salt? I don't know. Let me taste it.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? Like, I just thought that was fun.
Taste tells us so dang much. I mean,
Oh, yeah.
uh, every time I make a cup of coffee, I'm fully uncertain until the final like 14th taste or whatever it is I'm doing to manipulate this thing. Hey, gate 9, it's not my fault. I'm taming everything. There's a lot goes into it. So anyway, it's like that's a great analogy. We taste, we tame, we cure uncertainty, we stir it around, we taste it again. All the while, the foundational smell is there. If the smell, you don't need to have smell as your foundational sense. You can have uncertainty and you'll still smell it. Smell be still the foundation, and
Still
so you
relates.
and it absolutely relates. It's intrinsically related. So through that, the smell will still be there. And now you've got this whole foundational binary tapping through the security through things that are sort of uncertain. If you think about it, that is a second line process. Hey, what's that second line up to? If you ask them directly what's going on right now, they might not even be able to give you an answer. They're not certain yet. They're waiting to be called out. That taste is waiting to be called onto the scene to have something exciting through gate 16. That all rhymed. That's weird. The personality of uncertainty and the thing of taste, they go together perfectly.
Awesome. Mosey.
Hmm.
Moving along to tone 3, and now we've shifted from the spleen up to the ajna, and tone 3 is a left arrow. On the design side, this relates to outer vision, and on the personality, it relates to action. So we're going to start off with the design side is outer vision. This is about visual stimulation, and it directs the body to eye-catching details. Sight as a strategic compass, and the environment must spark attention. Clutter-free yet dynamic fuels intuition, and it's drawn to aesthetically pleasing scenes. They can use pattern spotting for decisions, and the eyes scan for opportunities.
They totally do. And this outer vision, this is when this came on board as humanity was fully erect, stood up, this outer vision. And it honed itself in the seven-centered being as we were yet the tallest. If you can stand over the bushes and over the tall grass, you have a huge advantage. It's just a thing that was like you wouldn't think too much of because we all live in, suburban environments where we mow lawns. We don't have to worry about standing over the lawn very much. Um, but if you did, you'd see, oh God, I'm glad I can see over much of this. It's just a
It's a,
big deal. So
it's a vantage point.
total vantage point thing, and it creates the outer vision. It also does the thing as the larynx dropped and gate 12 came on because gate 11 showed up and started becoming our creative teaching way and storytelling. Those two things go together, and that's the left eye at gate 11. Granted, this is more through the right eye because we're on one side, but it is about that seeing. It is about the seeing. And once we started seeing with a binocular vision that was so sharp, I mean, we became as potent as the wolves in that way, like fully. Once that binocular vision came in and we could stand upright, we could start to envision our movement towards civilization, literally, without even realizing it's in the genome. It was always going to go there. And this outer vision is logical, wicked logical. Now we're in the Ajna binary. This is the details of 62 up through the pressure to doubt and get smarter in 63. So up through the Ajna. This is total mental business. This is the mental strategic height of the seven-centered being, and they took this to its maximum. I can see across this ocean. I can see logically into these ships. I can see da 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 da. I can see bigger guns. I can see bigger walls. I can see the kingdom spread. I can see. I can see. I can see. I can see for miles. I'm Tommy. type thing. We love this. However, Tommy actually is the nine-centered version of this, as he was all inner vision, wasn't he?
Yeah. And he's talking,
Yeah.
Danny is talking about Tommy from The Who for anyone who's not keeping along.
If you don't know what that is, that's all good. Just look
That's
it
a
up. The
pinball
Who,
wizard.
Pinball Wizard. Yep. So, anyways, move on to the personality because this
Sure.
outer vision is big.
Yeah. So on the personality side, this relates to action. Mental energy into propelled movement. The mind buzzes with a how-to framework, laying out logical paths to drive and a drive to strategize amid flux, sketching to rally action, and it feels purposeful in momentum, frustrated in stagnation, waiting for visual cues to initiate.
This represents again, the height of the strategic personality passenger consciousness. This was it. That action, I think, therefore I do. I don't even really need to explain that very much. That was the manifestor's way, right? I mean, this was our height of manifesting. Our mind was turning us all into either a manifest, well, we were either a manifestor or a generator, essentially, but regardless, we all had to act like a manifestor somehow. And that's what that does. This outer vision turned us into making everything. If everything you see as civilization and every little trinket and every little mental gadget that we needed our mind to measure, figure out, and put on this plane on four wheels that could ever move or become a Lego came out of here, or started here. The inner vision made the Legos colorful and very interestingly adaptive in other ways. So
I think of like monkey see, monkey do for this one.
I
Like
love
you
it.
have outer vision, you see it, and then you do it. Monkey see, monkey do.
Totally. Totally. The capacity of this to rally masses is enormous. But then again, the capacity of all of them to do that can be enormous the more we wake up. You will rally a mass if you smell something that's wicked important and you're amongst a mass of people and you're the first one to smell it. They'll be right there with you in seconds later. And everyone will have the same awareness. Outer vision takes a lot longer. You got to get people to see the picture. And down this logical process, so many other people are going to have a different outer vision. And this is where we get all that seven-centered conditioning onto us of, hey, well, my vision is more like this. My vision's that. My vision is contradistinction to your vision. Let's have war, basically. Outer vision marches into war. That's part of the action humanity has been real good at. Imagine if as we really start to lean more towards that fourth sense and we get into that inner vision meditation, there'll be less march towards war. Won't make sense. Hard to fight with your eyes closed.
Mosey, or you have anything else to share?
Nope.
So now we'll move on to tone 4. So this is still part of the ajna, but now we've switched over to the right arrow. So this is that transition point from left into right is at tone 4. On the design side, this is inner vision. On the personality side, it's meditation. So we'll first start with the design. So inner vision. These people turn inward towards their imagination, which kind of matters more than the external what's going on. And they process through mental imagery. They do well in low distraction environments with a rich internal landscape. Daydreams manifesting realities, quiet reflection, closing eyes to see solutions, low light rooms with subtle visuals might do them best.
It's so funny how the seeing of the solution becomes sort of a take up, spin off of what was happening in tone three. And tone three was the carryover through the enthusiasm of tone two. This thing is meant to move. If I could move it in a body graph, it would move like this. And it would make almost like a G clef.
Oh, the
Almost like
music
a G.
thing.
Yep, almost a little sort of different, but um totally different than a G clef, but I saw that, so
Roll
backwards.
with it.
Go with it. So this whole I have this as my sense on my personality side, which isn't listed yet, but I do know that as we look at what is inner vision that turns inward when it's on your design side, it will take your cognition that's coming in through the brain system and physically demand that it become open receptive. This is about the beginning of humanity's movement towards our open receptivity, towards our new way, towards really the open receptivity was the new thing that came on board that created this genetic spiral towards communion. At outer vision, cooperation was all that was required. At inner vision, sorry, we stepped up to a new thing. It won't work without communion, and consciousness will not advance. We're in a program, and it seems very interested in making us aware. I find that insane, but here we are. It's the coolest thing. Inner vision is your capacity to just see inward. And by the way, there is no rhyme or reason for this. This now is a domain of the stream of awareness called abstraction from 64, right down to 56, 64, 47, 11, 56. Four gates serve the Department of Inner Vision that does not need to march on anything. It needs to be like, hmm, hmm, it's part of what took the action and said, slow it down. We're about to go through an emotional process. Hmm, maybe not all that action. This is far more contemplative, far more.
Yeah, this one's interesting. And I'm curious because I feel like this description is very much for like the inner vision as like a cognition when they have it for like their sun earth, which, is more eyes closed and calmer visual environments. I have this as on my design side, but in my environment. And I don't mentally need calm visuals. I actually have a lot of really pretty things. I really like a lot of colors and beauty in that way, but my body feels calmer when my eyes are closed.
Mm,
Right. So it's like
mm.
more of like the physical body when it goes to the environment side. So it's kind of interesting. Also, maybe someday we'll go into like super nuances between the cognition and the environment with tone. So maybe that's a future episode, but kind of play with it if you have this maybe in a different, spot than the cognition. If you have in the environment, kind of tease through it and kind of run it through that filter of the top one, the sun, earth relates to like your brain and your cognition in that way. Whereas on the environment side, it's more of like physical body, less brain, physical brain.
Absolutely.
Uh,
Absolutely. Yep. Ready for the next one.
yeah. And on the personality side, tone four is meditation. And these people embody stillness with inner observation, inviting insights without force, having a let it be approach, and a consciousness quiets, watch thoughts unfold, and a profound intuition shared on request, and a resistance to busyness.
The busyness is just within. There can be busyness within, because it's fun in there. Inner vision is like a magical world. It's as if you stepped out of the reality programming and went into the Walter Mitty inward reality programming. This is the first step of that. Um, and in its open receptivity, it guarantees that so much goes in. And this is our first spot where we're learning that meditation takes us out of strategery. Just as the word meditation dictates, stuff is coming in, stuff is going through, and that's the process of rightness. That very much is. It's you could keynote the process of rightness, with meditation in a lot of ways. And we need it that way. I know that I have this as my sense on my personality side. And if I look directly at the thing for too long, I very often will miss stuff. And my contemplative side will yearn to later at some point just go off and contemplate what happened because it takes time. And this is going from that 64 to 56, which means its very next step is just one little inch over into 35. They're part of the same circuitry. It's guaranteed that this is in support of an emotional process, an emotional wave, the whole solar plex, which is coming up in the next binary. And this is part of how we mix it up. Take it to line 4. by the way. Its sense of creativity is aloneness as a creative medium for its role. Its capacity in the fourth line to literally stay fixed on its own way, right? Its own little process that it has to get out through its contemplations. This is meant to help inform what we say next. It's incredibly mutative, this contemplative process. So, and that happens on the person, on the passenger is watching that and they're like, oh, I got this thing. Oh, I'm going to talk about this thing. Oh, it's a wicked abstract thing. So if this is your tone, you don't need any of the definition from the head to the ajna or the ajna to the throat in this stream of abstract awareness. You don't need any of it. It's in your tone. You will have abstract stuff. It just won't be the type of thing that is in your life force, but it is here in the Department of Planning. So if you have this in your sense, we should talk so that you can see not to get too attached to the open head and ajna that you might have that aren't there to consistently do that all the time. So this is a tricky one because it's the beginning of the new evolution. This is the foundation of nine-centeredness right here. This literally, this sense is the foundation of our nine-centeredness.
Cool. Ready to mosey?
Mm-hmm.
Now moving on to tone 5, which now we're shifted into this solar plexus. It's a right arrow. On the design side, it's feeling. On the personality side, it's judgment. So starting off on the design side, feeling. Senses subtle vibrations and empathy. Using the body acts as an emotional radar, and it picks up atmospheric feels, right? It's picking up the vibe of a person or a space. They may have a knot in, or if they have a knot in their stomach, it may signal a misalignment. And ease affirms their path. They may experience communication challenges when feelings evade language, and they excel in compassionate roles.
This subtle vibration becomes an empathy. It deeply becomes that because the sense of feeling has to go through so much, right? It has to go through the feeling of the tribal wave that ratchets forward and ratchets back. But this is not quite in the wave. It's just informing what much of the wave will be about. The ratcheting forward and ratcheting back is about their judgment and their feelings. It's what it's all about as it relates to the resources and the principles and then the affection and the work and the community and the food and the table. This is about all of that and the bringing of the people together and the commitment, right? I don't feel they're loyal enough. This is a design side thing that just recognizes and can almost smell it. By the way, this is going to be in harmony to taste. This
Because
is going
two
to be
and
in,
five.
yep. So as a harmony to it, here we have the department of the solar plexus. I got me a feeling and I might think a certain kind of way about all of that. Now, if you think that that is up to you in the moment that that's happening, it is pouring in through this tone, through the department of feelings. And I mean, I don't think we have to look too hard to find the department of feelings here on planet Earth, right? We got a lot of them. But then again, we're new at this solar plex business, aren't we? 244 years, getting on to 245 years total. So as we come into this feeling business, we'll see that we want to basically be with it. We want to taste what that feels like. We want to have logical feelings. We want it to make sense. And the tribe is very logical. Don't do it that way, do it this way. But it's also very spiritual. I have some feelings about all of that because you do it this way. Can we do it a different way? Type thing to fit more with my tribal needs. And this is a blending of consciousness. This is a blending that is emergent and makes us unique back to the service of the individual knowing circuitry. Yep.
Yeah, and it's interesting this kind of like feelings, like big feels, like feels what you're kind of used to. And then also this idea of more the sensing subtle vibrations and that empathic and kind of sensing a vibe, right? Because it's like an emotion is a frequency that's passing through to give us a message. If you're defined emotionally, write out your wave and find your clarity. If you're undefined emotionally, realize that wave that's passing through is somebody else's wave, right? But it's supposed to just be a wave that passes through us to give us data and information. And so, kind of thinking that, as emotional feelings, but also this vibe, like I got a weird vibe on them, the vibe feels off, that kind of way. It's this bit of data that we can take in.
Yeah, and it leads to the ego. It leads to the ego. So these feelings lead to work somehow, way, shape, or form. Well, I mean, they do, and that's why I
No,
got a
I
lot of
know, it's
feelings
just
about that.
funny.
Yeah, it is funny. Feelings that evade language. You take people that are of this sense and they have this going on in them, or actually take any group of people because this sense is in the world. Um, as soon as the language isn't needed and yet they can still communicate, they can, do you feel me?
Mm,
That's here. Everyone can look at someone and be like, I know what that sound was.
yeah. Do
And
you feel
everyone
what
can
I'm
know,
throwing down?
yeah, yeah, yeah. You feel what I'm throwing down? Yeah, exactly. Or just like in a moment, everyone will recognize the same thing and have a similar feeling because the
The
tribe
vibe
is
shifted. It got weird. What went weird? Why is it
weird.
off?
Yep.
Yeah,
Or there was a
yeah,
sudden noise and we now got to go do something. Back to the
yeah.
splenic binary.
Mhm, mhm.
So yeah, that's all over. I feel a certain kind of way. I can't tell. I got me an itchy trigger finger. But the judgment side is the motion of that itchy trigger finger sometimes. So
So for the personality side, this is judgment. This is a conscious way to sense emotional patterns, spotting where a feeling or where a situation may be heading. The mind cycles through right/wrong filters, and clarity builds over time. Judgment is based on felt patterns, and it can be repressed if unheard. Without invitation, the energy turns inward, brewing as self doubt.
it can brew us a lot of things down there. When it's not heard, the feeling becomes, because it's still a design thing, and the personality's judgment sort of link up. I judge that I don't feel good about this. They're not hearing what I'm putting down. This does not taste right. It also doesn't smell right. It is tribal stuff. Um, it's all of that. So on the judgment side, it'll be expressed. This will be expressed, and you better fit in. This thing lets in and excludes. If smell and taste lets in and excludes, it's in a moment. No, no, no. Okay, okay. One moment, no. The second later, something was adjusted. Okay, you know.
Hmm.
This is a longer brew, and once it's no, 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 it might stay that way for a lifetime. We don't know. The toy box holds on to it for a lifetime, but they're periodic. This week it's no, next week it's yes. This week it's no. It's
Mental
they
business.
will mental business, which can't be fully true until you listen to your strategy and authority and follow that all the way through, and you'll see.
Hmm.
So I like this judgment side. As it cleans up, it brings clarity over time. It says it right there, smack in the middle. Clarity builds over time. That's the very definition of the emotional wave. And then when we get into the outer one, which we get to next, you'll see this transitional movement into the whole human process. The outer one is, in a way, the most human of the processes.
Hmm. It's neat. It's kind of like you get a feeling on something and then you kind of make a judgment about it, but it's like almost like reserve your judgments in like a little book and then take it through. Maybe that first impression it can tell a lot and maybe it's spot on, but maybe they just had a weird moment and then over time your judgment can shift on a person or a situation. So it's kind of almost like you get a feeling but reserve your judgments, but take note and give it time to develop into, good or bad or right or wrong.
As a ratchet wave process, this is the ratchet wave is the only reliable enough emotional process to finesse and to sophisticate judgment beyond petty judgment and materialistic only, because I have to take a step forward. I sample it there. Oh, I took a step back. I don't like it now. I sample there. I take a step forward. This brings a clarity to that judgment that as our solar plex does clean up, we can't help but to have much better judgment. Our judgment is very much emotional. We want to call it logical judgment. I'm sorry, people. The Department of Judgment in the solar plex is the judgment on the planet. It's not your mental logical, well, they were here, and so of course, blah, 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 maybe, but you got a certain kind of feeling about that, and that's why you're okay with it. So this now is what's empowering it, no longer the mental business, which stopped at outer vision. Think of that. This is so far away now from outer vision. Neat.
Perfect. Yeah, ready, Mosey?
Hmm.
So our final tone, tone 6, this is still part of the solar plexus and it's still a right arrow. On the design side, it's touch, and on the personality side, it's acceptance. So starting off on the design side, touch emphasizes tactile intimacy and craves physical interaction. They can like hands-on spaces and their body learns through their skin. They have a need for tangibility and experiment with textures and temperatures. They're healing oriented with a touch discernment, but they require boundaries to avoid overload.
Yeah, and those boundaries lead to how they accept when we get over onto the other side. It's wicked important. But the whole touch of it all, it's this touch actually not only creates the intimacy, but it ordains the experience. That's what it's doing. It literally is allowing the experience to become something that will touch both parties. That touch is there to share outwardly that others are touched. This department of the Solarplex Center in its Department of Planning called Touch and Acceptance, the Department of Touch and Acceptance wants to wicked emphasize that the shared tactile experiential experience will rise to its greatest height. That's what they're after. Honey, let's hold hands while we jump over this cliff together. And that is where this incredible exhilaration and excitement can come in, because this is the highest expression, in a way, of our emotional, it's in an emotional crash wave going up this stream of desire, the stream of desire that goes from 41 to 35. So those four gates, 41, 30, 36, and 35, they serve the Department of Touch and Acceptance, where we want to basically hold hands and share that process, and that desire pushes us to the most amazing experiences. Take me to the top of Mount Everest. Let's find a way to, put 18 people in a VW bug. Whatever it is, they're all there to be experienced and lived through. And then we know our foundation, we could smell it, it was safe, do it enough. We could taste it. It was with our friends. We liked it. It had all the right other aspects from the ajna. I could see where it was going. It felt good. And here, finally, in this acceptance, in the crash wave, it says we're ready to transition. I've had the experience, and the whole end of this process in transitoriness says, been there, done that. Touch it, experience it, move on to the next side, Moni, so I can use all those yummy keynotes. And we will see that this is the touching of the skin and the acceptance of what I just did together as a shared experience.
So on the personality side, this is acceptance. They fosters a detached embrace, observing without entanglement, accepting what is from an outer vantage point. Consciousness detaches to witness with a non-judgmental reflection and a sense of let it unfold. This can be
Mm.
touch-based calming, and they promoting humility, but can seem aloof.
Well, all of that. Now, this is very much describing the awake version of this. On the not self version of this, we should disclaimer and say it becomes sort of not any of this. It becomes a crazy crash wave where I'm not witnessing anything. I'm blaming you for something. Yeah, that
Uh-huh.
type of thing. But then you haven't touched anything. And guess what? The cognition and this beautiful capacity of ours to have reason and see something goes out the window. We don't get to have it. That touch that started on the design side is touching the skin. Please try to imagine when you're sharing that moment where it is essentially intimate and you're touching somebody else. And then the acceptance of them into your life or you into theirs is now about the biggest thing that can happen. Together, that can become acceptance of lots of things. And this whole avoids the entanglement. No, they're entangled, but they're in and out of it. Like you said, they're observing it. And that whole crash wave doesn't want to be personal. So this side can actually be somewhat detached. However, in the experience, you'll see you can never fully detach because I'm in the experience with you. And the best we can do is say, I know it's not personal, no matter how it turns out up here on the surface. And that it's all when we get on the surface to know it's not personal and not blame the other person for something is one of the most amazing acceptances one can do. And if you really think about it, at the end of the day, this becomes the acceptance of our nine-centered way. Yes, Willie.
Your cat. Yeah, it's fun. I have tone six on my personality side, but it's on the nodes, it's on the perspective, and I am always fiddling with something. I have a highlighter, I have a little twisty thing, I have a slinky over here. I always need to kind of be fiddling and touching something in order to kind of engage with it properly, or I start to feel off. Like,
Mm,
yeah.
I forget what I have it in mind. I think I have it once in one spot, but it's
I think we both have it in six in that same spot.
oh, okay. Yeah, that's right. We have a six in that same spot. Yeah, that's right. It's in my view, my right-minded view,
Hmm.
a right-facing view arrow. So
Yeah.
to accept what is it I view, and I take in peripherally becomes something that I need to know I have to either accept or I won't detach from it. And it becomes this incredible emotional knowing that we get to have clarity on if we wake up in time, that is.
That that was striking. The idea of needing to detach from something or you won't accept it. That just like totally hit me. It's like there needs to be a sense of accepting it or it'll just keep driving you mad in a sense and you finally just be like, yeah, it is what it is and accept it.
And the wave, the power of that beat is part of a manifesting channel, right? Is up there, the 36, 35, and it can only, as it wakes up right, the emotional wave won't be so dirty, manifesting judgment and non-acceptance. You know, we don't want that. So untouched, I withdraw my touch. I do not accept. I now we have division and total misunderstanding, and everyone's assuming it's personal, and it's not. I'm just
Mm,
trying to share. Let's just share this.
mm. And even
Yep.
that idea of acceptance and a handshake, you agree and accept
Yep.
the terms on a handshake or like, leave me alone, don't touch me, get away. I don't accept
Right.
you. Yeah.
Right. Wicked. And it was right on the left hand side, right, the touch on the design side. Skin.
Hmm.
Get some skin in there somehow or close enough.
Skin in the game.
Get some skin in the game. A handshake is a pretty powerful deal. You can tell how important a handshake is if someone puts their hand out and you don't put yours out to reach, out to
Hmm.
grab it. That says something.
Mhm. Or like in oldie timey days, like a man would never reach out his hand to a woman. She had to first offer her hand and then he would, like, for him to not propose upon her hand.
The regalia and all of these processes over before touch was even allowed. Can't even touch. This was a big deal. This is the role model version of where humanity starts to get into that six line process, you know, as detached. If the word detached, even innocence as a motivation, personal as a view, these are all detached ish things that detach from the rest of the hexagram. And everyone knows the hexagram, everyone knows. I don't know if everyone knows, but the hexagram, hardly anyone knows, but I'll
Free
tell you.
people know.
Yeah, yeah. Someone knows, and I'll tell you. I already forgot my dang point. I don't even remember what I was talking about.
Oh
It's
my
funny.
God.
Yeah, just move on.
Conclusion time.
I'm pissed at that. That's okay.
Well, so as our conclusion, tone tones are our unsung architects, tuning your body's senses to life signals, shaping how your body senses the world and how your mind interprets it. From primal instincts to mental processing to cyclical emotions, these six subtle frequencies aren't just layers of your design. They're the quiet conductors of your unique symphony, guiding you toward alignment, vitality, and authentic expression. In a world that drowns out the whispers of the body, honoring your tone invites a profound homecoming, sensing life not as chaos, but as a personalized map to highlight your potential.
These quiet conductors, your unique symphony, that's the language that speaks to service to the unique pulse of the individual of the individual circuitry. It's there to bolster our uniqueness, and each one of these tones is part of planning that, making sure it works, and that's why the 6 tones are the Department of Planning. They make sure all of the stuff is working so that this can come out in our humanistic, nine-centered way, towards beauty and trust and communion.
So that was our episode going through the 6 tones, and I think it was a lot of fun. It was neat going through it in that way and kind of. I've always learned little bits and parts about it. You're like, okay, these are the 6 tones and it's here, but actually breaking them down. And I really enjoyed going through it on the design and the personality because there's an overlap, but a different kind of expression a little bit.
Well, it very much is sort of like it's abstract at first. If you've never heard a tone or you haven't done much with it, you're still not going to do a lot with it, but you'll have this episode to like, it marks time, it's here for posterity's sake as well.
Yeah.
And at least you'll know that what drags my arrow left. Oh, these senses drag my arrow left, and these senses drag my arrows right. So just even that alone is enough to give you a profound contemplation as to what's really going on. These senses 4, 5, and 6, and I prefer to look at them as senses. I realize there's the design sense. We can name our view, which isn't quite the sense the same way. I just call it sense for personality mostly because it's the easiest for me to understand. And as those 6 senses are coming and going, when you see that they stop at outer vision before they start turning right, it makes sense. It makes sense why the seven-centered being was the way they were. It makes a lot of sense how much we've changed from them and how we are now. And it also says what's worth holding on to as we move into this next mutation, this shift. It's right around the corner. You're away, essentially.
Yeah, it's one of those things that no, it's like funny with 2027 stuff where it's just like all you can do is learn how to live correctly as yourself. Because it could get a little like oogity boogity and like scary, like 2027 and the countdown, it seems kind of intensive and it's just like time's going to move on, things are going to change. We'll see what it is. Play with your strategy and authority, learn how to live correctly as yourself and make decisions correctly as yourself. And that's kind of, there's so much craziness out there. And as much as I can try to understand it, like I can't do anything about it. And open head and Ajna can't figure it out, doesn't know what to think about it, doesn't know what to say about it. And it's just like at a certain point, you're like, maybe acceptance. We all come to this ultimate point of acceptance, like the 5 stages of grief or whatever. Like you just have to accept it and be like, okay, well, these are the terms and conditions of life and what is shifting and happening, and all I can do is try to live correctly as myself.
And I gonna feel a certain kind of way about that.
Tone 5.
I know they go together.
Uh-huh.
I think we did a good job. I don't really need to say much more about that. Just,
Yeah.
I mean, the only thing I can think to say is just that we have the planet is divvied up. 1/6 of the planet is each tone, give or take a little bit. So this is ubiquitous throughout our world. It's not like the gates or the channels where it's much less. This is a big deal. The Department of Planning. Look at it that way.
So next week we will be continuing our Godheads series. We have Vishnu and the Keepers of the Wheel, which I'm pretty excited about. Like this is gonna be a neat one. And those are gonna be representing the lake hexagram in I Ching. So then we're gonna go through the 8 lake
I'm
gates that we'll be
Vishnu.
going through. Oh, you are.
Yeah,
Well, your
yeah,
Godhead is Vishnu.
yeah. Oh my Godhead, right? Yeah, I'm
You
me.
are
I'm not
Vishnu.
that.
I didn't know.
I am me.
I didn't know I was amongst royalty. So that'll be next week. That'll be super, super fun. So until then, if you'd like to book a reading with either Danny or myself, check out the QR code above me, or the link is down in the description box below. You can use code AWAKEN for 10% off so you can save a little bit, hang out with us. We can read your chart, have some fun, help you understand yourself a little bit better. And if you've been getting a ton out of this, you learned a whole lot about tone and you'd like to help support us and encourage us, check out the donation link above. The link is also down in the description box below. And as always, thank you for watching. Thank you for liking, subscribing, commenting, asking questions, hanging out with us. We love having you. And we will see you next week for another deep dive.
Much love, everyone. Till next week.